Hello, friends. Welcome to SNEP Talks. Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic which is often ignored. And the topic is about letter of intent. There are many confusions in the minds of caretakers or parents about what is letter of intent, what is its importance, how it should be written, is it a legal document, is it required that we need any registration for this particular letter of intent. So, to answer all these queries, today we have with us Mr. Jitendra Solanki, who is the founder of SNEP Special Need Estate Planners. He is also a SEBI registered investment advisor. And I think in today's session, by the end of the video, you will get answers to most of these questions. So, welcome Jitendra to the show.
Hi, Shilpa.
To begin with, let us talk about the first most important question that is there in the minds of people: communication. Okay, I mean, we always communicate with others, but communication about the special child to each other or to somebody else, why it becomes so important?
See, special needs children families, largely, if you look at, the whole life parents are taking care of the special child. Now, what happens is, one is obviously after the parents, whoever is going to take care of the child, and especially the personal affairs, how much uh, he understand about the special needs child requirements. As a parents know in and out because they have been taking care of him, 24 by 7. But anybody who will come, after the parents, how much, they will be aware of that what
Hmm.
are his requirement, you know. So one aspect is that, and second is obviously having a dialogue, with other family members or with other stakeholders, uh, making the child even comfortable with other family members, who's going to get involved later on, or probably who's going to be in and around, with the child um, personally, ensuring that he doesn't feel lonely, or there is no such environment built around the child where nobody else is there. Because what happens is when you have a special needs child, so there are a lot of challenges families face, and challenges specifically come from our own society also. There are a lot of families where the child might not be accepted.
Hmm.
The communication gap comes in between the parents of a special needs child and other family members involved. So because of that, at some point of time, the parents has to decide that one, if the thing has not opened up, about the special needs child, they have to open up about him or her, with other family members. Also they have to start communicating with the world, uh, knowing that after their lifetime, the people who would join, or who will take care of your child might not understand about your child requirement. So it's very
Hmm.
important that a communication from the parents start much early in life, and this communication talks about their child requirements, his life, his likes, his dislikes. So all of those aspects. So the communication per se is that personal affairs, and also then the communication leads to all other angles, be it financial or be it legal, which will get involved managing the child affairs. So that's why communication is a very critical element for families who got a special needs child, that they have to communicate with so many stakeholders. Okay, so that's why it's important that start communicating, they communicate with other family members, they communicate with other stakeholders, and get them involved, knowing about their child requirement.
Yeah, so we understand that, because somebody has to take care of the child, and parents by default have been doing it and they know all about it. But when the time comes when someone else has to take care of the child, the communication is the key, that's for sure. But the next question then comes is there any media? Is there any there any documentation which one can prepare, okay, so that that communication is very clear and there is no ambiguity and the child is taken care properly? And is the topic of today's like letter of intent is something which can be helpful in this context? And if yes, then why do you think that is required to be done?
Well, to answer this question, let's understand a situation. Okay, let's say you have got a special need child. Now you have to go out, say 4 to 6 hours. Probably, you can leave your child, with the neighbor and make them understand about your, child, and the child can stay with them. I extend it to another 48 hours. Still you have a communication, verbal communication you can have that, okay, fine, this is about my child, and within the next 48 hours, please, take care in, this manner. Now, when it comes to the complete lifetime, can you give a verbal instruction? Can you, make anybody understand that what is there about your child, because it's about his own life care, and there would so many angles which will get involved, medical, personal, and other things. So that's where letter of intent becomes such an important document that you cannot communicate verbally about your child for somebody who's going to, replace you after your lifetime for managing your child affairs. So you write a letter of intent, letter of instruction. We generally name it as a letter of intent. Okay. So in a letter of intent, you write about your complete child life and give this document to all the stakeholders. So when they read it, they understand. They understand about your child. They understand that this is what has happened in the past, this is about the present, and this is what you expect from the future. So when you give this document to all the stakeholders, their chances of taking care of your child the way you want, the way you wish, increases. Okay, so they are more aware about your child than previously they would be. In another example, you do not want a situation where your child is suddenly an adult, okay, and you have appointed somebody as a legal guardian. Something happens to the parent, and now this child is knocking the door of legal guardian, and the legal guardian does not know what to do because
Mm.
he or she doesn't understand about his requirement. So that's where letter of intent becomes such an important document for communicating about your child requirement.
Yeah. But what is expected? Like, suppose there is a caretaker or there is a legal guardian who is somebody who is not parent but is trying to take care of the child temporarily or on a permanent basis. When someone says that I am writing letter of intent, what exactly is expected to be written in the letter of intent?
Okay, so first of all, letter of intent is a document which either parent can write in their own format. Okay. Now the question is what they are supposed to write. What do they want? Generally, if you look at a letter of intent is written describing about your child life. So it will start from the child birth, the diagnosis of disability, the situation after that, his past medical history, what all medication has been given to him, what has worked, what has not worked, then about his likes, dislikes, his habits, his clothing habits, his personal habits, where does he want to go, what does he like? So maybe to a religious place, to any other certain place. Then, going forward, you may, write that, okay, once he's an adult, this is what needs to be done. Okay, and then can go up to writing your wish. What happens at the end of his lifetime? How do you want things to unfold? Okay, so a letter of intent when you write, as I said, it describes completely about your child life and what has been there in the past, what all about your child life, and what is there in the future, which anybody, legal guardian or somebody else, taking care of the child should know about. For example, let's say, there is some medical requirement which has come up. Now, a legal guardian, where would he know what has, happened in the past and what kind of a medicines, that should not be given to the child? You know, this can only be done when you are writing it in the letter of intent. Okay,
Mm.
similarly about his likes or dislikes. So after the parents, when the legal guardian is taking care of the child, he should know, what are his likes, what are his dislikes, where does he want to go, how does he go about outing. I mean, you can go as minutely as you want, but on the broader line, you should be describing about everything about your child, and then everything about your wish. How do you want the child should be taken care of? Any instruction you want to give, you can write in that instruction. So, and plus, along with that, details of all professionals. You might have doctor phone number, you might have,
Mm.
estate planner, your legal, emergency contact numbers. So all uh, professionals or family members' numbers, so that tomorrow, if legal guardian has to, contact the doctor who has been, involved with the child, then where would you find that doctor? You can't keep writing in a diary of those numbers, and a letter of intent will have all that information.
Yeah. So we have understood like letter of intent is such an important document, and it has to be written very clearly so that there is no ambiguity. Is it a legal document? Is it required that one has to register it, or is it required in any of the legal formalities, if at all, has to be done for the child?
No, letter of intent is not a legal document. It's not a legal document. The legalities do not define a letter of intent. It's like, in other legal language, you have letter of wishes also. You can write your own wish, okay, but it's not a legal document. But it's not a legal document. Don't have to get registered. You don't have to notarize it. No, it's just that you write a letter of intent. You can write it in a piece of paper also. You can type it. You want to sign it, you can sign it at the end, and it can become a reference document with other documents, maybe legal documents. So in a will, it can become a reference. It can become a reference in your trust also. And beyond that, it's a document you are giving to all the stakeholders to know about your child. So it's not a legal document, but probably I would say, the most important document, because that's what will describe about your child, and that's what will give information about the child to the next stakeholders.
Yeah, so I think that particular document will become the base for making other plans ready for the child. Like it can be financial plan, or it can be, if it's a trust, then how much money will be required. Because everything parents will write like how is their vision for the child, and based on that only then the further calculations can be done. But suppose, like, let us take the life stages of the child. The child is small and he has got detected with some kind of disability. Now the child grows up, and then the life stages of the child happens. At which stage do you think letter of intent should be written, and whether, if it is written in the early stages, and then how the child behaves, how he changes, that there are many changes which are happening in the day-to-day life of the special need child, his health, his medical conditions. So how often do you think this letter of intent should be updated?
See, ideally, if you look at review, so maybe you can review it once in a year always, okay, and can update it, because it's something you write it in your computer and you have to just take a printout and give it to the stakeholders, okay. So updation can be done annually, or probably, based, maybe, every 3, 4 years you can update it when there has been substantial changes. But when does it should be written? That's very important. See, what happens is, with special needs child, maybe parents won't be able to write a detailed LOI until the child, reaches, say, around 14, 15 years of age. Because when the child is below 10, 5, 6 years around, then parents do not know much about the disability, do not know much about, what changes would come up, how things are going to span out. I think it's only 15, 16 around of the, the child age where parents are very clear, what's has happened. They are clear about the health issues. They are clear about his behavior, his likes, his dislikes, and after that, probably parents are more working on the skill development. So parents are much aware of at that stage. So if you look at a good detailed letter of intent may be written at this that age of the child, but I think letter of intent still in a uh, not in such a detailed manner, but whatever parents know about their child, they can write it even when the child is minor, say even 6 or 7 years of age. Parent can start writing it. So bring yourself into a habit of writing this letter of intent and keep updating it as you move forward, because we are talking about somebody replacing parents, okay,
Hmm.
when parents are not around. Now this, there is no timeline for that. This can happen even at early stage of life also. So at that stage is also important. And letter of intent is a document which you can write it in your own language also. I don't say you have to write it in only in English, okay. I mean, you can write it in your own language also. So as comfortable as you feel, you can write a letter of intent. But a detailed letter of intent would be written when the child is around 15, 16 years of age. Before that, I think it's not going to be so much detail.
Okay. So I think viewers, we have got insights into the letter of intent as a document, its importance as a communication from parents who know everything about the child to a someone else who is not so conversant with the habits of the child. And not only that, as Jitendra has said, we have to start writing letter of intent as early as possible in whatever small way, so that that particular document can get evolved as the child grows. But a proper detailed letter of intent is expected to be written by the time child becomes around 15 years and more. And that is something which should be kept handy and maybe in your laptop or somewhere, so that you can immediately take a printout and hand it over to someone. And the letter of intent should also cover all the important aspects towards the child, his medical history, his other conditions, allergies, likes, dislikes, okay? And the most importantly, the support system that the child has, the therapist, the doctor, the financial advisor, and all other aspects which will definitely come in the play and will become very important the moment the parents are no more in the picture. So I think we all have understood the importance of writing the letter of intent. Thank you, Jitendra, for such an insightful explanation about letter of intent. Thank you,
Thank you,
viewers.
and hopefully, as of now, we don't have tools available for, where you can keep your letter of intent. But I think in the future, parents would have some online tool where, they can write letter of intent, and still will anybody can access that letter of intent whomsoever they want to give, access to. So those options would be available in the future. But as of now, yes, it's a word format, simple format you can write. Okay, whichever way you choose, and as I said, whichever way the parents think. So thank you, Shilpa, for this PSN Speak session, and I think we have covered a most important topic. And I always say, this is the when parents come to me that where should we start, and I always tell them
Mhm.
just start writing letter of intent. Okay, lot many things will get clear.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you
Thank
in
you.
another episode of SNEP Talks.